Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Hook. Today we're going to be making a practice turkey on a Masterbuilt electric fryer that I purchased off of Amazon. Cost about $100. I had a buddy several years ago. He let me cook our turkey in his electric fryer, and I was really happy how it turned out. And I've been meaning to get one ever since. So got it in the mail about last week. Got a couple turkeys recently, and I'm going to go ahead and practice making one today in preparation for Thanksgiving next week. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so once you take it out of the box, let's see what it's going to look like. This lid actually comes off. If you need to take it off for any reason, it's got a couple buttons on the back that you can take that lid off. This control module / heating element will come right out, and that kind of leaves you with the interior, the cooking jug there, big bowl, whatever you want to call it. And it also has a valve down here, right? It also comes with a kind of like an extension here, kind of like a drain valve, drain hose here that you can point down and put it right back into the cooking oil jug. I'm using peanut oil, right? Really just have to take this off. This unscrews. There's a little bit of a seal here / like kind of a rubber washer, and then just like the valve here to open and close the flow of oil. All right. Putting this heating element back in is pretty easy. Slides down, a couple little guides, kind of fits snugly there, and there's a couple like little stands here on the bottom of the heating element that lets it sit right inside of that cooking chamber. And then pretty much lastly here you got a cord that kind of just fits in to the receptacle, and you know, you can pull it quickly if you need to cut power to the unit for any reason. Also comes with a basket here, obviously, and it's also got a couple clips here that you can use to kind of put it on inside of that lip to kind of let the oil drain. Also has a handle here so you can, you know, lower and lift that in and out of the hot oil more easily. And also recommend wearing some kind of like a heat glove. You know, some kind of like a baking mitt there to make sure you don't get any splatter over yourself, okay? And then down here, the heating element, I'm gonna go ahead and set 375 because that's what the directions say. Once we plug it in, I believe it'll be yellow. And then once it turns green, it means that the oil is up to temperature and we can start cooking from that point on. The owner's manual says to use it inside. However, I've seen too many bad videos, and this is my first time using this unit, and really second time ever using a deep fryer. So I'm going to like to go outside with a heavy-duty extension line, you know, just in case, just over abundance of caution there, all right? But make sure you're not using like a really small, thin extension cord, because these probably take quite a bit of power, and that could increase the time it takes to heat up the oil, okay? Directions say about 35-45 minutes to fully heat up the oil. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in, pour the oil in, and turn it on. All right, so I went ahead and put the oil in up to the max line there. As you can see, the heating element is in the inner pot there as it's supposed to be. I have the temperature set to 375 degrees, and the orange light is on, which kind of lets you know that the element is in the proper position, it's hooked up, and it's heating up. Once this turns green, that'll let me know that the oil is at temperature and ready to cook. It says about 3.5 to 4 minutes per pound. So I'm cooking a 12-pound turkey today. So really that ranges from 42 to 48 minutes. So I'm gonna go to 42 minutes, kind of lift the bird up, measure the about 2 inches into the breast, see if it's at 165. If it's not, I'll put it in for a few more minutes. But I'll come back once I'm showing the green light, letting us know that our oil is at temperature, and then we will slowly lower the bird in to the basket and then into the oil. Be back in a little bit. All right, so while we're waiting for the oil to heat up, now's a good time to talk about how I prepped this turkey. I just used a butterball turkey, bought 2 12-pound turkeys at Walmart yesterday for about $1 a pound. And I actually thawed this in cold water in a refrigerator in my basement. So basically, you really want to keep that water to less than 40 degrees but of course it has to be above freezing for it to thaw out. It greatly reduces the amount of time. Obviously I would have just rather have let it thaw out in the fridge for a few days, but I came up with this idea yesterday, so I didn't have a few days. Okay, so you really got to make sure that it is fully thawed. If there's any ice inside the bird and you lower that into really hot oil, that's where you see all those really scary videos on the internet, basically erupting into a big fireball. All right, which is one of the reasons I'm not doing this in my house. Okay, so I made sure it was really thawed out. I ran warm water under it, made sure that everything was good and de-thawed. And I bought an ejection system from just Tony's injectable Creole butter. Actually has a lot of really good reviews. Never used it before, so I'm going to go ahead and use it on this one. I put a bunch of ejection holes, about 4 in each breast and a couple in the legs. And it says to use about 1 ounce per pound of turkey. That seemed like quite a bit for me, and just realizing that butterball turkeys are pre-brined. I believe it says like 6% solution, whatever. So I didn't want to introduce too much salt, and this is one of the reasons why I'm doing a trial turkey, just to make sure it doesn't get too salty. So I actually use only about half of this 17-ounce bottle, so I guess that's about 8.5 ounces. So less than the 12 that it says to use, but it was quite a bit, and I was kind of searching around for more places to inject that butter, so it's quite a bit. And then after that, I just used Tony's original Creole seasoning and sprinkled that inside the bird. I got up underneath the skin, between the skin and the breast, and inside the cavity. But again, if you used a really salty brine beforehand, realize that I think the first ingredient of this is salt. Okay, so you don't want to over salt your bird, because that's biting into it and just tastes like pure salt is not the goal for the cook. So I used a pretty good amount of the seasoning and about half of the amount of the ejection butter, and getting to get a good gauge of those values during my test cook today. Right. So the biggest highlight here is make sure you thaw your bird. You definitely don't want to have any ice in there. You definitely want to pull the neck and the bag of the giblets that come with your standard 1 each turkey that you buy from a supermarket. All right. So I'm still waiting for that oil to heat up, and I'll come back once that time comes, and we'll lower it into the oil. All right, so here we are. It's been about 45 minutes to get it up to temperature of 375 degrees. I'm not super surprised. 1, we're outside, and 2, it's pretty cold here. It was actually snowing here earlier, so it took about 45 minutes to get it up to temperature. All right, so I got my turkey over here. I got my handle here to lift it up and to gently, slowly lower it into that oil. You don't want to go too quick with that. And I wish I had a big rubber glove, one of those high temp gloves. I thought I had one, but it turns out I don't. So this was the next best thing versus just using bare skin. And you can probably see it's kind of starting to snow a little bit there in the background. All right. So that light is kind of flickering between green and orange. It was just green, so I'm going to go ahead and lower it into the oil. All right. Obviously, got to be really careful here not to let it go too fast. Gonna go nice and slow. All right, as you can see, we're off to the races here. I'm gonna go ahead and hack my clock, and we'll be back here in about 42 minutes to see how it's looking. See you soon. Alrighty, so it's been about 42 to 45-ish minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and check the temperature. So what I'm gonna do here is lift this up, put it right here on this ledge, make sure that it's locked in there. I'm just gonna use my quick temp. I'm looking for about 165. Oh man, it's about perfect. Oh, that side's not. Just a little bit shallower here, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead, just because the deep part of these breasts is a little bit low. I'm gonna put it back in for another 5-ish minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Slowly letting it sink back down. As you can see, it's starting to smell pretty good here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add about 10-ish minutes, 5 to 10 minutes here, and we'll do the same thing. We'll check the temperature again. Again, looking for about 165 for poultry in the deep parts, about 2 inches into the breast. All right, so we'll be back in about 10 minutes. All right, so it's been about 10 more minutes. Gonna go ahead and rinse, repeat exactly what we did before. Make sure that that hook's in there real nice, otherwise you don't want it falling back in and splashing everything. Yeah, that looks better. Looking for at least 165 here. So it's all looking good. These should be like 185. And they should be that way. Definitely more than that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this. I'm going to let it rest for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I'm just gonna carve it up. I'll let you know how it turns out. Again, if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Definitely appreciate all the support, and hopefully you can learn some more from my other videos. Thanks. Overall, I'm really happy with how this turkey turned out. No part of this turkey was moist. And again, I kind of attribute that to taking it out at 165 versus just kind of guessing the doneness of your turkey. I was happy with the amount of injection butter I used. My wife was really happy with the turkey. And my kids even ate a whole bunch of the breast meat, which is surprising because they usually don't eat a whole lot of meat. Again, I'm very happy with the Masterbuilt deep fryer, as well as the injection butter that I used and the seasoning. I might use slightly less of the seasoning on Thanksgiving, but overall was very happy with it. Hope you liked the video. Again, like and subscribe. Thank you.